Hey guys, what's up? So welcome back to today's video, and today we will be studying something very simple related to ionic bonding. You remember what was the other name I gave to ionic bonding in my last to last video? Yes, if you can think it, good. It is electrovalent bonding, or you can say electrovalent bond. So this is the topic that we are going to discuss today. You remember bachpan mein when you were small kids, maybe in grade 7th or 8th or 9th or maybe in 10th, your teachers must have taught you one thing, that if there is an element sodium which you write as 281, it loses one electron and it becomes Na plus. Similarly, if there is an element Cl which is 287, it gains an electron and becomes 288. This was what was taught to you, right? And then they taught you that Na plus and Cl minus will come close to each other to form NaCl. So this much was what was covered in the topic ionic bonding when you were small kids, right? But now you are in grade 11th, and maybe those who are watching maybe in grade 12th, you are not kids anymore, right? So we have to teach you more details about ionic bonding. The concept is the same, but the details will be more than what was taught to you. So let's get started with today's video. So there will be 3 or 4 definitions that we will be studying. See here. There is an element sodium which is supposed to be taken in the gaseous state. Now if you talk about sodium, this is the nucleus. These are 2 electrons, then 8 electrons, and then 1 electron is there. So this 1 electron is known as the most loosely bound electron, because this is far away from the nucleus, so this is most loosely bound electron. Am I right? Now this electron cannot be taken out like that. You have to give energy in order to take out this electron. So if you have taken 1 mole of sodium in the gaseous state, or let us say any metal in the gaseous state, but you have to take 1 mole of that particular element, okay? Now to remove the most loosely bound electron from the element in the gaseous state, you have to provide some energy. So let us say we provided some energy, and this energy which we provide is known as IE. IE stands for ionization energy, and the units will be defined as kilojoules per mole. Why kilojoules per mole? Because this is the energy required to remove the most loosely bound electron from 1 mole of the gaseous isolated atom. Okay, and after losing 1 electron, let us say sodium becomes Na plus in the gaseous state. So ionization energy you always have to give. Suppose there is this atom with the electron. This electron cannot come out by itself. For sure, you have to provide energy from outside. Now, since this is the energy which we have to provide, so this is said to be required energy and will be positive energy. Okay, so this was about ionization energy. Can I now say that any particular atom which has low ionization energy will be able to form the cation very easily, right? So if you have to provide very little energy to remove the electron, that particular atom is the most perfect atom to make a cation, right? So the one thing that we understood here is, for any particular atom to lose electron, we need to give ionization energy, and we want that particular atom which has least ionization energy. And obviously, you know, metals are the ones which have least ionization energy, and hence generally the ionic compounds that we will be studying mainly consist of metals. Okay, like metal atom would have given the electron to form a cation. And the example is sodium plus, potassium plus, lithium plus, magnesium 2 plus, and so on. All of them can easily form cations. Done? So this was all with respect to Na to form Na plus electron. From now onwards, you will not forget to mention gaseous. These are important things. One another important thing is 1 mole. We always talk about 1 mole of the gaseous atom. Done? Now let us move ahead and see what is the case for anion. Okay. So consider an anion, let us say chlorine. Now you have to take atomic thing. You do not have to take chlorine in the gaseous state. No, I am simply talking about any particular atom in the atomic state, in the elemental state. This is known as elemental state when it is present alone in the gaseous state. Okay. So let it be chlorine or let it be any atom X in the gaseous state. Now when this X or this chlorine accepts an electron, there are two possibilities. Maybe while we are accepting electron, energy might be released. This is also possible that while accepting an electron, we need to gain some energy. And the details about this you must have studied in chapter number 2, which is structure of atom. So, if chlorine is gaining an electron to form Cl minus in the gaseous state or X plus electron to form X minus in the gaseous state. Point number 1, we will always be talking about elemental state. Point number 2, we will always be talking about 1 mole of the gaseous atom. Point number 3, gaseous atom. So this has to be gaseous, this has to be in elemental state, and this has to be 1 mole. So when 1 mole of gaseous isolated atom gains an electron to form gaseous anion, energy may be released. This is also possible that energy may be required. And what is the amount of energy released or what is the amount of energy required is known as electron gain enthalpy. Don't get confused with the word enthalpy. Enthalpy just means energy. And this in short is written as EGE, or sometimes in books you will say EG. EG is not example, EG is electron gain enthalpy. Understood? So we got two things. If atom is losing electron, we have to provide energy. If atom is gaining electron, maybe energy is required or maybe energy is released. Then what? After this, the cation and the anion which are formed, they have to come close to each other, right? So let us see. Okay, one more thing I forgot to tell you. Any element which has more and more tendency to gain electron, don't you think that will be the one which can best form the anion? So the best anion will be formed by that particular element or that particular metal which has more and more tendency to gain electron. Understood? And who have tendency to gain electron? The most non-metallic elements. Because we know, right, non-metals are the ones which have tendency to gain electrons. Done? So that is why we see Na plus Cl minus. Cl minus is generally there in all the ionic compounds. Done? Let us move further with Na plus and Cl minus gaseous. Okay. So I told you Na plus gaseous was formed. Somewhere far away Cl minus gaseous was formed. As soon as Na plus and Cl minus, these are positive and negatively charged particles, when they try to come close to each other, so both of them are coming close to each other, and you know when they attract each other, while attraction, do remember one point, that when two things are attracted to each other, energy is released. That's it. Understood? One positive, one negative. Okay, let me just show it to you. Let's say this is positive, this is negative. When the two are coming close to each other, when they attract each other, as soon as they come close to each other, attraction occurs. And because of this attraction, so much amount of energy is released. It is released, it is released. Get this thing directly into your mind that when attraction occurs, energy is released. Okay, so let us assume that the gaseous cation and gaseous anion so formed were attracted to each other to form NaCl. But this NaCl so formed is in the solid state. Done? So can I say that when 1 mole of NaCl solid is formed from its gaseous cation and gaseous anion, the energy released is there, and the energy which is released is known as lattice enthalpy. Now what do we mean by lattice? We will come to that point also. So what I tried to say is when gaseous cation, gaseous anion were coming close to each other, as soon as they joined with each other, lots of energy was released. But you have to remember, I am talking about 1 mole of the ionic compound in the solid state. And this energy so released is termed as lattice enthalpy. Done? So I hope at this point of time you are okay with the 3 definitions: ionization energy, electron gain enthalpy and lattice enthalpy. Done? There is another way to define lattice enthalpy. Let us talk about that way also. So see, we have 1 mole of NaCl in the solid state. Okay. Now I told you when Na plus and Cl minus were far away, they were coming together. When they came together, energy was released, right? Let us say 200 kilojoules of energy was released. I am just saying that. Now don't you think, if I have 1 mole of NaCl solid and I am trying to break it, and I have to break Na and Cl away to form Na plus gaseous and Cl minus gaseous, now energy won't be released, energy will be required. Understood? So if cation and anion are together, when they come together, energy is released. But if they are together and you have to break them to go away from each other, energy is required. But the value remains same. So when NaCl has to be broken down, let's say 200 kilojoules of energy is required. But when once again Na plus C and Cl minus come close together to form NaCl solid, 200 kilojoules of energy will be released. Done? So both the definitions are correct when I talk about lattice enthalpy. Done? Now let me define what do we mean by lattice. When I define lattice, things will directly fall in place. You will be able to understand all the definitions properly. You know, if I am talking about 1 mole of NaCl, obviously I am not talking about just 1 molecule. I am talking about 6.022 into 10 raised to the power 23 molecules of NaCl. Am I right? And you know how they are arranged? They are arranged in the form of a 3-dimensional crystal. So these NaCl are arranged in the form of 3D crystal, and if you want me to draw the crystal, it will take a minute, but I think you will be able to understand. Something like this. So we have let me represent Na plus as big circle, Cl minus as a square. So you know the shape will be Cl minus, Na plus, here you will have Cl minus, here you will have Na plus, here you will have Cl minus, here you will have Na plus, Cl minus, Na plus, this. So this you can see as a three-dimensional structure, right? So one Na surrounded by Cl, one Na surrounded by Cl, and so on. The complete structure, which is a three-dimensional structure so formed, this is known as, so this three-dimensional structure is known as a lattice. Okay, so lattice means the three-dimensional arrangement of cations and anions. And the force of attraction which holds the cation and anion together, this force of attraction is known as ionic bond, or this is also known as electrovalent bond. Done? So when I define what is lattice enthalpy is the energy required to break 1 mole of lattice. I am not going to break the board. Obviously, to break these forces of attraction. For 1 mole, how much energy is required is known as lattice enthalpy. Done? So this was all about ionization, electron gain enthalpy and lattice enthalpy. Now let us just quickly do the trends in ionization energy and lattice enthalpy. Let us talk about NaCl. I'll tell you. Suppose for Na gaseous to lose 1 electron to form Na plus gaseous, I said energy is required, right? Let us say 500 joules per mole energy is required, or let's say 500 kilojoules I am taking. This much energy is required. Plus means required. Now, if Cl is gaining an electron to form Cl minus, 350 kilojoules per mole energy is released. So this is required, this is released. So can I say that in the entire process, about 150 kilojoules per mole energy plus sign says it is required? Done? So if Na would lose and Cl would gain, overall we need 150 kilojoules of energy. But where are we getting this energy from? Now see. When 1 mole of Na plus gaseous and 1 mole of Cl minus gaseous were combining to form 1 mole of NaCl solid. Do you know, around 800 kilojoules of energy is released. Done? This is what is known as lattice energy. So if more and more lattice energy would be released, can I say more and more stable the compound will be? Because the negative will be more than this positive. Done? So for our ionic compound to be stable, so what I am trying to say, for ionic compound to be stable, we have 3 requirements. Requirement number 1, the ionization energy should be less. If we give less energy here, so rather than plus 500, maybe it is 400, 300, 200, 100 and so on. So we need to give lesser amount of ionization energy. Point number 2, we need to have more and more electron gain enthalpy. More and more energy should be released. Always we want released energy to be greater than the required energy, so that the process happens by itself. We don't have to do much effort. Okay, obviously yaar, hum kharcha kam karna chahte hain and we want savings to be more, right? We want our income to be more and expenditure is less. This is expenditure. This is like how much monthly you can spend, and this is your earning, how much you can earn. We all want earnings to be greater than expenditure, right? Nahi to kangal ho jayenge na. So earning has to be greater. So electron gain enthalpy has to be more negative. That means more released. And final thing, we need to have lattice enthalpy as more and more and more. That's it. So if ionization energy is less, electron gain enthalpy is more negative, and lattice energy is like maha negative, too much negative, the ionic bonding I am talking about, or the ionic compound I am talking about, will be very stable. Done? So guys, this was all about the detailed discussion of ionic compounds, what is ionization, electron gain enthalpy and lattice enthalpy. I hope you understood everything. So just make quick good notes about the topic, because this is really important for your exams. So that's it for today. I'll meet you very soon. Bye-bye.